Hi, I'm Megan.
And I'm Carly.
And I'm Melissa.
And I'm Emma. Welcome to 30, Flirty, and Faithful,
where women have real conversations about faith, biblical femininity, purpose, and navigating life with God at the center. Whether you're full of faith or full of questions, we're so glad you're here.
Come laugh with us, grow with us, and let's fall in love with Jesus together.
Hello. Welcome to, what is this, episode 7?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness.
Wow,
cool.
we're
Very cool.
through this.
Just chugging along.
Lucky
number 7.
I pray that whoever's listening, that you're having the most beautiful day and that you're being blessed with God's blessings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Amen.
And we hope that after this, you are just filled with just God's love and self-love and self-worth and
Biblical
self-worth.
Mm.
And yeah.
Yeah, so this topic is
We are
on
diving in.
diving in. Biblical self-love versus or with also self-love through the lens of society and what both look like. And of course, naturally, I believe, I don't want to speak for you girls, but I think that we're all striving for biblical self-love.
For sure.
Am I right?
Yep, 100%.
Yep.
So, yeah. So who wants to say what?
Well, I think it's really exciting because your kind of background is more in this.
Yeah.
Absolutely. From your previous life.
For my previous
Your pre-Jesus life.
My pre-Jesus life.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I always had Jesus in my life, but there was a time where I put him on the back burner.
Yeah.
That just hurt my heart a little bit saying
Aww.
that, and so this is true. So I'm certified in self-love as a self-love
I'm
coach.
so curious, like, what is the difference in, like, what you learned as your self-love in whatever those teachings were versus now what you actually think about it?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
And God bless you for doing like such a pure heart. You wanted to help women.
Thank you
It's
so much.
there's
Thank
self-esteem.
you.
Like,
So
I just love that.
Yeah.
Like it's just, maybe Jesus wasn't at the forefront, but your heart was so there. Right?
You know what?
I think a lot of people's are. Just they don't know Jesus yet.
Yeah.
I will speak the world of that program, of the woman who created it and who hired me to coach internationally within her company.
Oh, wow.
And the heart behind it, the program, everything was beautiful. Just beautiful. I cannot and will not say a negative thing about it. And my heart was to serve. My heart was to help other women love themselves. After coming from my own personal experience where I did not love myself and I did not know how. And then I went on this journey and I found this program and I learned and I embodied all the practices and everything and, just kind of renewed a sense of self-worth and self-love. And I just desired to help other women in that because I think we as women, I think men also, right? Of course, women and men equally have these insecurities and these struggles with a low sense of self-worth and lack of self-love. And it impacts your whole life. It impacts your relationship to self and your relationship to the world. And
it causes like attachment style too. Like that has a huge part.
There's such a ripple effect of so many things that just are destructive in our world and in our relationship to self and our relationship with other people. So my heart was to serve. Now, that I'm on this, that God's just renewing my heart, right? He's just renewing my life. I'm recognizing how the way I did it, what's important for me is to have God in all things, right? What's important for me is to honor God and to bring him into everything that I do. And I did not do that at the time, right? And so now I'm seeing the difference. I know the heart behind self-love, I think for the world is good. And then also I think unintentionally it can be misled and misguided. And so
Can I just encourage you with something too? Because I don't even know if I've actually ever told you this, but I'll keep like details private because I don't know what you want to share about what you taught. But there was
I'm comfortable.
Okay, so do you remember the night that you met my mom?
For
the first time?
Yep, absolutely.
So she came home and she's like, "Oh, I met one of your friends tonight," and I was like, "Okay," and she's like telling me what you did.
Sorry.
Like who, or she was like, "Oh yeah, she like teaches on sex love relationships."
So that was another study.
Oh, okay, this was
another
separate.
certification that I did.
Okay, I might have jumped the gun here.
No, that's okay. But
yeah, so this certification, she was telling me about it, and it ended up actually opening up a conversation with my mom and I that I had not been comfortable having because of being raised in purity culture, that I never thought I would have a conversation like this with my mom, because I was like, again, like that shame attachment of like, I can't ask these questions. And then it was the night that you guys met, and she came home and she sat on the couch beside me and she was just like, oh yeah, I just met. And then I just like felt safe to open up to her about something. And we were talking about it. Yeah. I don't know if I ever told you that.
You did.
I did tell you.
Yes, you did
okay.
tell me. And
anyway,
that's so beautiful.
Yeah. So my point in saying that is that I think even back then, when it was earlier on in your walk, maybe, I don't know the timing.
No, I wasn't even there.
Okay, so there you go.
I wasn't even like, yeah.
So I think even then, unbeknownst to you, God was working, because that is like, I never thought my mom and I would, and this was only a couple years ago. Yeah. I never thought we would have a conversation like that, where I felt safe enough to have that conversation. And I really think that God used you to open that door.
Aww.
Yeah. So
Thanks
anyway,
for saying
just wanted,
that.
yeah, it just made me think of
redemption.
Exactly. Yeah. So like, God was working even then outside of what you
That's
knew.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
No, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. So after my journey and my certification in self-love, and I loved it. I loved what I did. I absolutely did. It was a beautiful time. And the heart behind it was right. I went on to study sex, love, and relationships under a really world-renowned woman and her institute. And I think that what I realize now, having had my renewed faith and commitment to God, I realized, okay, the work I was doing was separate from him, right? So though it's like, okay, I was helping people, this, that, and the other thing, it was completely separate from God. And so now, okay, how can I take what I'm passionate about and my heart to help people in their relationship to themselves and to one another within the context of marriage? How can I do that in a godly way, which is where my desire for studying and becoming certified in theology of the body comes in. So I'd love to I want to be able to speak sex, love, and relationships, but through the lens of God's design, right? I want it to be Christ-centered. And so I see all those years in my coaching career, we were getting there, right? He's like, she's taking the long way around. But he was really using that time to shape me. Yeah. And he knew I'd land here today and I would get it right, you know? And so God bless him. Yeah.
So we've got a self-love coach over here.
Oh wow.
I think so. One of the episodes we were like, I loved what Emma was saying was, just how like God wants us to see ourselves the way he sees us. And we're born with this self-love, right? We're born with, and then society comes in and then you're told, or you're rejected, or you go through heartbreak, or someone makes fun of you, or someone says your laugh is funny, or someone, says they're going to date you if you do X, Y, and Z, and that gives you your self-worth or whatever. And so it's just, God knew. He knows that we live in an imperfect world. Yeah. He knows that we are amongst just men, right? The imperfect man. And focusing on his love and seeing ourselves through the way that he sees us and just staying true to that. I just found that was like so beautiful. And and then there's a lot of scripture too where it says you are fearfully and wonderfully made. Yeah. Right? Like it just gives you goosebumps when you think about it. Like he was so intentional with each and every one of us, and he wants to get to know each and every one of us on a personal level and help us to see that love for ourselves. But we live in a society where it's just, it's hard. And you've probably seen that.
So much.
You've probably seen that like throughout your whole journey, right? Of like, you've seen all of it. Yeah. No, say it.
Okay.
So say it.
I have notes because even you were such a doll, and in our group chat, you put down points as we discussed, the topic that we would go through. And I decided to look up this scripture, and it really just gave me a lot to think about, a lot to jot down. So thank you, because you also inspired this. And so I think, again, this is just from my personal perspective, right? My own experience. I don't, where do I start? Okay. So often I think in society, the image of self-love is very centered back to you, right? And it's how I feel. It's what I desire, what I want, right? Your truth is your truth. Follow your heart. Respectfully, it's very self-centered, right? And I do mean that respectfully because I don't think that's the intent behind it, right? I think the intent is to really nourish your body, mind, soul, spirit, care for yourself, right? But it can just sometimes be misguided. And so when we come back to biblical self-love, I'm going to refer to my notes a little bit.
Yeah, of course.
Biblical self-love, right? So Genesis 1:27, we are created in the image of God, right? We literally are created in the image of God. And this one right here, Romans 12:3, okay? Do not think of yourself more highly than you ought. Rather, think of yourself with sober judgment. And so I think that's really important when it comes to biblical self-love, to have sober judgment. So biblical self-love it's not, I'm better than, right? I'm better than the people who are practicing outside of that, right? And it's also not, I'm unworthy, right? To have sober judgment, as you so beautifully said also, is that it's to look at ourselves, turn within and say, okay, I am human. I am created in his image. I have God-given gifts, right? That God-given designs. And something that you shared that I just loved is how we also make mistakes. We need a savior. We need correction, right? And I thought that was so powerful. And I'm saying this, I hope you don't mind, because it leads me to a thought process that I had.
No.
And so we are created in his image. And so because of that, we are worthy and we are so loved, right? And so Psalm 139, I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. And so the invitation, I think, is for us to see ourselves through his lens, right? And I think that is a deeper invitation to pursue him relentlessly and to obey, right? To be in obedience to him, because the more that we do that, the more that he comes into our hearts, he can renew our hearts, he can renew our minds, right? Be transformed by the renewing of your mind, right?
Yes.
And in doing that, we reflect more of his heart in the world. How beautiful is that? Right? So I praise you because I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. And so in doing that, we allow him to change our hearts. The more we surrender to him, the more we are living in obedience to him, the more we're able to allow him to move us, the more we're able to reflect his heart in the world. I think that's a big part of biblical self-love. I have so much more to say, but I'm just going to pause and let you girls add your beautiful words of wisdom.
Well, I know I said that I wanted to I thought it would be really powerful if we were able to bring in some some experiences that we've had that have really diminished our self-worth or kind of made us feel like just kind of put some realness to it, right? So because they're listeners, there's going to be so many things that are happening that are creating this low self-worth in themselves. And I just thought sharing some experiences of how we either get through that or how it has affected us, essentially.
It makes me really emotional, hearing that. When you think about my self-worth, and honestly, for me, it's something I struggled a lot with. My whole life, I always thought I was not worthy. I thought people didn't love me, and that made me so sad growing up, and I was so unhappy. I had a hard time trusting people, making friends. I was very to myself, and one thing encountering Jesus was finding that self-love, but again, it's not in a selfish way anymore where it's me. It's seeking Jesus, and through Jesus, I have received the self-love almost. I didn't intentionally try to do it, but it almost just came to me. As a gift. And from there, I feel so much more I guess, a lot, almost relieved of all these past traumas and past self-images where I thought I was just this not good person. And through Jesus now, it's like this ray of sunshine.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. I have a hard
So
time explaining myself.
No,
I think you did a beautiful job.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
just society tells you like choose yourself, put yourself first,
Yeah.
protect your peace. I know a lot of people that I'm like, I'm trying to have conversation. Oh, I don't get into that. I mean, that it's too disruptive. I just like protect my peace. But I'm like, but I don't know. Like I feel like it's okay to talk about these things because how can we all come together and make a difference if we're all just staying in our own lanes and so focused on protecting our peace? Like there's no way to move forward if we don't, find a way to kind of, come together. And people want to, I just cut off all negative energy instead of just putting out positive. Like these are just phrases that I remember, right? Like pre-Jesus, what I would always say, like, oh, that's negative energy. And I still, sometimes it'll creep in, right? And I'll be like, oh, it's negative energy and do whatever makes you happy. Just do what makes you happy,
Right.
No, do what makes God happy.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And just know your worth. Yeah, but that's a lot easier said than it is done. Like knowing your worth. Oh, you got to know your worth. Well,
You're only going to feel it through him.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so just getting that to click for people, I think it still takes a while to settle in totally. You have to continuously remind yourself of your worth until eventually it just becomes your truth.
So I think like
Exactly.
in my experience, when this topic came up a couple weeks ago when we were recording, for me, self-love and self-worth have become very interchangeable. So the heart behind it, like I am probably one of the biggest recovering people pleasers on the face of this earth because I was raised that when you're raised in like the Christian household, a lot of times it's about self-sacrifice. Like that's almost a way to earn your worth, is not self-sabotage, but like you have a servant's heart, which I do. I love, all I want to do is make others around me better.
I think that's very apparent.
In your
like
heart, my heart is so for
Yeah.
other people that it has most of my life been a self-detriment to like my own, because I have to earn the worth to, does that make sense? Like my worth has been earned through how do I serve other people, which is my heart. I want to serve other people. That is who I am, and that is who God made me to be. But for the first time in my life over the last couple of years, it started to be, I can't pour from an empty cup. So if I don't take care of me, and in coexisting with taking care of other people, I can't show up how I want to. So the self-love, taking care of myself, setting boundaries, which I know we're going to talk about we've said we're going to talk about boundaries in another episode. All of that became so apparent of, if I don't do this for me, because I think this is what Jesus is telling me I need to do, then I'm not going to be able to show up how I want to. Like that's kind of been my experience, where it was like I didn't have, the only self-love or the self-worth that I had was from serving other people. It was never reflected internally until recently, when it was like, if I don't think about myself a little bit here and start to quote unquote, I know a like term of the world, if you will, of self-love is like, it's okay to be selfish. And that was the hardest thing for me because I was like, I'm not a selfish person. That's not my heart. I don't want to be selfish. I want to serve other people. That's who I am.
That's your heart.
But so it became this thing where it was like, it's okay to be selfish because then I can continue to serve. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's kind of been my personal experience
like,
with
Jesus
it.
called us to die and die again and die again.
Yeah, like,
and I'm going to keep serving and I'm going to
like the dying to self, 100%. That's what you're taught, is you're taught to die to yourself. But not in the sense, I don't think that it's the intention, you have that in there. It's not the intention to die to yourself to not be able to, I'm jumping ahead again.
No, you're not.
But yeah.
At all. No, it's beautiful. If I could just tag on to
Please,
that.
yeah.
So Luke 9:2-3, if anyone would come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me. So I have thoughts on that.
Yeah.
We are asked to deny ourselves, to take up our cross, and to follow him. And self-denial does not mean self-hatred, right? Sacrifice does not mean self-abandonment.
Yeah.
So what you said was so beautiful, and I agree with you. It does not mean self-abandonment, right?
Which it took me 29, 30 years to learn. Like, it's literally
They're easily mistaken.
It's pretty much when I hit my 30s when I was like, oh, I need to start putting me, not even first, but putting me like not down here. Well, I put everybody else here. I need to meet in the middle somewhere. Like, that's,
Yeah.
Take up your
the
cross
self-abandonment,
daily,
because that's all I've ever known.
Right.
I'm the last person I think of. And to this day, I'm still
working on
that. But like, it's just, it never, like, and again, this is where I have to have those moments where I'm like, you know what, God knows my heart, because I am never about being selfish. It's not in my nature.
Yeah.
It's not who I am. Yeah.
But I think you're right, and I think it could be misunderstood. But we are called to deny ourselves. We're called to take up our cross. We're called to follow him, and that is actually beautiful, right? Again, it's not to be mistaken for self-hate or self-abandonment. So let's just go over this for a second. Self-hate says I don't matter, right? Self-indulgence, I'm all that matters. Biblical self-love says I matter because I am his, right? I matter because I am made in his image, and my life belongs to him. And I think the part of deny yourself, I think for me, my understanding, I think there's probably so much more depth to it and so many more angles and layers, but sometimes my feelings can be clouded, right? My judgment can be clouded. My desires are not always good for me, right? So my desires can keep me in bad habits, right? My desires can offer a temporary high and long-term emotional pain, right? My desires could lead me to clinging on to something that God is asking me so desperately to let go of, right? And so I think that when it says, take up your cross, I think the cross is the surrender. You surrender it all to God, because God, I have faith in you and your will, and I trust in you more than I can trust in my own heart and my own understanding. So I have to take it all and lay it at your feet. I am taking it all. I trust in you. I trust in your will. I am denying myself, right? Picking up my cross. I'm surrendering it to you, because your will is better.
And because your identity isn't something that society can give you. It's something that only God can give you. And I love that.
I mean,
society does not determine your identity.
Yeah.
God does. And I love that I know Jesus now, so that we are able to say that with just like this all-knowing, yes, I believe, you know.
I'm trying to think in like Emma's perspective, like, so like this must be so challenging to like go from that thought where it's almost very toxic. It's like you think you're serving God, but you're also diminishing yourself. But then we are to, you know,
pick up our cross.
Pick up our crosses is what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to think like, where's that balance in between?
It genuinely, and I'm like getting emotional. It genuinely was one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. Because I just was like, for the first time, I started choosing me just a little bit. Like, not even like, I'm, like I said, I was like, I gotta find, not even meeting in the middle. Cause I was like, oh, well, maybe I do something for me. But then the inner thoughts of like 30 years of, that's not okay. Like, it was genuinely one of the hardest things. But like, I was in such, and looking back, I can see all of these other times where I was in such burnout. And was just like carrying everything for everybody around me, because that's who I am, and I've got big shoulders and I can handle it. And it's like, there's so many times in my life that I probably could have avoided crashing and burning if I had just been like, no, I need to take a step back here. But I never felt like I could. Like that
because your self-worth was tied to serving others.
People pleasing. 100%.
Got it.
If I say no, or if I do something for me, quote unquote, then I'm not worthy. That's like, because it was not, I wasn't looking at it from my worth comes from God. My worth comes from the people in my life who I serve because I'm supposed to serve.
Got it. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes,
Like
that's making sense.
like
yes.
God calls me to serve. So if I'm doing that, then I'm worthy.
Yeah.
It stemmed from like the biblical thought of, I thought I was doing it the way I'm supposed to,
Yes.
but not from a place of, it was to gain worth, because the way I gained worth was from other people's acceptance.
Yeah. I think a lot of people can relate to that.
Yeah.
Like, that's
I think
exactly
so.
Yeah.
like all of my athletics was just, I have to win, because if I don't, then I'm not going to get attention, or I'm not going to feel like I'm not
Like I'm worthy.
Yeah. And
Well, because
to
if
the
you're
point where I'm,
you're not, like, let's be
so
honest, the
injured.
mentality there is, if you're not the winner, you're the loser.
Yeah.
There's only one winner. There's like all those mentalities. That's
and it was so hard to the point where I was like, I was in such pain. Like I would put myself like in long term, like I've had 4 knee surgeries.
and you're only 30 and you're only 34.
I have like I have a severe neck injury, and I had a back fracture. And it was within a week I had to be back out on the field, because my worth came from giving everything I had to the team.
Yeah.
Right? And to the point where like my body, like I'm like, that's what I pray for daily. Like, you know, I just want to be able to have a functioning body because of all of my years of just totally giving my body away from athletics and just trying to be the best and getting points for the team, and so that I can play with my daughter, and I don't want her to have a crippled mom, right? And so I just think it's so important. Like, this topic is so important. I'm so glad you came prepared with notes, because
Inspired by you. Inspired by you.
Nobody's work.
It's teamwork here.
And it just like, I'm so glad that Emma brought it up, because you know that you're only capable of loving someone to the amount of that you love yourself, right? And we are born with this beautiful love for ourselves, and then society just it's up to us to help people to see, like, you are enough, you are worthy. And now I know, like, the people standing on the corner, like, God loves you. Like, he loves you. He's especially fond of you. And that's just, and it was so corny before listening to it, and now I'm like,
I think
it's so important.
It's the truth.
And I think when you have this greater understanding of just how fond he is of you, because he knit you together in your mother's womb, like when you have that profound understanding, you want to care for yourself better in better ways.
Well, and even in, like, let's say, kind of a worldly perspective, but I always am so fascinated when, like, I don't want to say like crime scenes, but in like in that world of, you know, like, DNA is so, like, there is no one DNA that is the same. That is God's design.
He's so brilliant.
He's so brilliant, because like there was a show, I think it was in like maybe the early 2000s. It was called Cold Case. Do you guys know this show?
This sounds very familiar.
It was like 5 seasons, but it basically, every episode was about an old cold case that then throughout the episode with like flashbacks and different things. It was a drama. It wasn't like but it was based on true cases and stuff. And they would solve the cold case in the episode. And there's like 100-year-old cold cases that this team is solving from DNA and from like just putting the pieces together.
And the technology they didn't have.
Back then. But like, DNA is God's design for you specifically. Like, he designed you. He knit you together in your mother's womb.
I love that.
Like, it's just so fascinating to me that there's literally like, you are hand stitched by God's design.
And I try to remember that when I'm having moments of insecurity, of deep-seated insecurity and or lack of worthiness. When I'm being hard on myself, I try to bring it back now to just, I am created in his image. And I think that's helping heal wounded parts of my heart.
Yeah.
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 Well, because it was society that poisoned it. Like Megan and I were talking about this today. I'm reading this book right now called, I think it's called It Wasn't Meant to Be This Way, or It Wasn't Supposed to Be This Way, where it's just, the first chapter is called Between Two Gardens, and how when you come into this world, you come in with so much self-love. You come in with just the purest form of, I'm created in God's image. And that the original design was for us to have that unity with God in the garden. And because of free will and the sin of man and the downfall of Adam, as it's called, or Adam and Eve, rather, not to put it all on him, but that
Poor guy.
I know that all changed. And so then self-love became something that we then feel like we have to earn. And at the end of time, or at the end of our life, we re-enter that covenant with God, where we are in our purest form of worthiness when we enter into his kingdom. And that the time in between is between the two gardens. That's like literally the first chapter of the book. Where, I had never heard it put that way.
Neither have I.
Because in heaven, you're not going to feel.
Because
you're not going to feel the shame. You're not going to feel
perfect.
unworthiness.
Right.
You're a saint.
Right.
Right? In heaven.
You join the host, the hosts and saints of, where you're essentially like that. I mean, again, and this is such, we're not theologians, but like the understanding of heaven that I have is that you enter into that re-covenant of Jesus, with Jesus and God, how it was always intended to be in the Garden of Eden. So right now we're between two gardens. In our day-to-day life right now, we're between the two gardens. That's like basically the first chapter of the book.
That's an interesting point of view.
It is, eh?
We're going to be vegan in heaven.
Wait, what?
What?
What'd you say? I didn't hear you.
Okay, no, I'm sorry. What are you talking about?
Because the Garden of Eden, before, like, we were supposed to all be vegan. And then
I can't get into this conversation. And do you know that for a fact? Don't say that on the podcast. Unless you know for a fact. We need to call up a theologian somewhere.
Probably on ChatGPT.
Yeah, that is. We are not announcing that.
No, it is. It is thought of sometimes.
By you.
No, I've read it. I actually read it, that the Garden of Eden was meant to be a garden and we were all meant to be vegan. And then we ate the apple, and then that's when we had to kill animals and sacrifice things and kill them over and over. And they killed how many? They killed like billions of animals every time someone.
That's fascinating. I've never heard that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how I feel about it. I'd have to do my own research, but
I think I do remember reading in Genesis is the diet started off as
the first
plant-based, and then it did eventually get to the animal. So
Yeah,
I don't know if that's what you're referring to.
All right.
So we started reading the Bible recap at the beginning of the year, and it does talk about cobble. But yeah, it does talk about that essentially.
Hey, I'm not denying it. I'm just saying I've never read it. I don't know this to be true. I have to do my research. It could be true.
Just read about it.
I don't know.
We'll talk about it.
So we go over biblical self-love and veganism. On that note,
No.
Getting back to
we are coming to an end.
That
We
should
do
be
need
a podcast title.
Yeah,
though.
maybe
For sure.
The
biblical self-love and veganism.
No, just vegan.
two vegans and two carnivores.
Yeah.
I'm not vegan.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
One vegan and three carnivores. Okay, so
Anyway,
we
love
do
ourselves.
we can edit.
We do need to wrap
edit if we need to.
We do need to wrap this up
That's
now.
No, but
Time is ticking.
Is there more though?
I
If we're
think
only at like 25 minutes. We've got...
No, we're at a lot more because I forgot to start the time.
Oh, okay. Okay. We can edit it.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
So what does Luke say?
No, we already went through that, right?
Yeah,
Deny yourself, take up your cross, and follow me. And I think the most important thing to
die again.
I love how we're coming back to this after this.
I know, and I think
We can edit.
I think that the most important thing to remember again is just that we are worthy and we have value and we are deeply loved because we are made in his image.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
Do any of us have any lies about ourselves that we just need to get rid of right now?
Oh, I like that.
Like, do we have
And
any
project onto our listeners.
trauma dump?
I think for me, like, and I've talked about this a lot, that I always say comparison is a thief of joy, but genuinely I compare myself to everybody around me in the sense of like, I'm not married, I don't have kids like most of the people in my life do. I know we're in good company, but you know, like that's a big thing. Or I'm not thin enough. Like I look at all, like even for me, just being completely transparent, like when we have those, you know, cabbie shoots or whatever, I'm like, well, look at you and look at me and look at Sam and look at me. Like it's something that I have to work through every time we do cabbie pictures, because I love doing it and I want to, but it's so hard for me because I'm like, I'm not the skinny one. I've never been the skinny one, quote unquote. And again, that's a societal thing. I will say that now and time again. That is a societal thing that has been put on me and something I've accepted because I'm, quote unquote, not the thin one or the skinny one. I'm not the bikini bod. I'm not, like, that's the hardest thing for me. Yeah. So that's something I'm really trying to work on, of just loving myself where I'm at, because I'm a heck of a lot further in my journey of health than I was before. Yeah. And it's not about weight. It's about a lot of other things and just being healthy in general. But that is something that I really struggle with for sure. Yeah. So I'm working on that.
All right.
Yeah, thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Does anyone else need to unlearn anything that society has put on them? Are we still looking for validation elsewhere and not getting it from...
I think it's easy for me to express all these things because it makes sense in my head, but practicing it, and one of my best friends could tell you this, I'm not so graceful at it. And so I am what's been reflected back to me is that I am incredibly, incredibly hard on myself. Yeah. Incredibly, to a point that it's just not a good thing. And so, yeah, I can share in similar insecurities just with appearance. I struggle with that big time because I worked very, very hard to have a very healthy, fit body. And when I had gotten really sick in 2023 is when it started. I put on 30 pounds practically overnight, and I've had it on basically ever since, just going through having like so much sickness and just not being in my capacity to get back to myself physically again. And so when I look in the mirror, I don't see myself. I don't recognize myself. I see there's just a completely different identity, like a different woman that I'm staring at, and I struggle with how much my body has changed, even though I know we are all beautiful in all our shapes and sizes. It's just not what I prefer for myself. Right. I know I'll get there again. I know that. I have no worries. It just requires more wellness, more physical wellness, so that I can focus and get there. So yeah, those are where my insecurities come in, and I can be really, really hard on myself. Yeah. And then it becomes... there's deeper layers to it where I think I won't be chosen by my life partner. Yeah. Right. I feel that. I won't be thought of as beautiful or attractive, and who will choose me. So there's more layers. So everything I shared, I can express it. It makes sense in my head. It doesn't mean I also always gracefully embody it or practice it, right? And it's something that I myself have to really, really work hard at, and ask God daily to renew me in this sense, and just build that sense of biblical self-love, so that I can carry myself as a woman of God who truly, feels how special I am because I am created in his image.
So good. So good.
Beautiful.
I just relate to you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I think that my self-worth always came from a partner. And that's why I always had a partner, because I was like, I need to have a partner now because that's going to give me self-worth. And so I found Jesus whenever I had already been to get back together with my partner. So I think it's not so much of am I still looking for validation? It's just, I'm never going to actually know if I'm fully healed, because I'm now getting married and I have that self-worth, but I had never lived being single and having that self-worth without having a partner.
Mm.
So just like seeing you girls and seeing how much you're working and everything, it's like, that is just beautiful. Like to have that opportunity to really just not focus on you, but in like God's love for you.
Mhm.
Yeah, and his
and
desire
knowing
for
all
us.
of this in your season right now,
Yeah.
because that's a season that like I mean, I don't want to be over here like just so ungrateful for everything, but it is a season that I didn't learn about this until now, you know? So I never was able to have that opportunity to be just with me and God and refining me and doing all like
But he's still doing
and
it.
he's
I was
still
just
doing
gonna
it.
say
Yeah,
that.
and I don't want to be like,
No,
trying to
you're
like
not at
victimize
all.
myself and like because but yeah, like I've never had that opportunity. So yeah, I just want to just encourage you guys because once you do have that person, it's a whole other thing. But I don't know, like, well, is it healed? Am I healed?
I think we're
It's a
always
lifelong
yes. I think I was just going to say that it's a lifelong journey, and I think also it's the refining that you have experienced. Yes, with like in your partnership with Dean and the healing that you've found just in general for anyone that knows your story, but then also you yourself are being refined. Like you have more patience. You have, you've talked about that. Like there's just so many things that have shifted for you in your day to day that, like you're healed and you're healing. And then,
my self-worth was always just get another boyfriend. He'll give you that, you know?
Yeah.
And
but
then
it's
I just
changing now.
It is,
Yeah.
But
And
you
the-
actually got to live, Mel. Like you refined and then were able to date as a
I was like, where are we going with this?
you refined and you were able to like build that relationship and then find a beautiful man.
Yeah, I mean, I struggled at first. Like, every time I feel that I met a good man in my life, I would almost run the opposite way because to me it felt really weird being with a good person because I don't feel good enough for them. I'm like, I'm going to ruin their life. I am not a good person for them. And that was the lie that I always repeated in my head and therefore went for people that were not treating me well because to me that was like the comfy zone.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm used to like this feels like what I know and this is where I'm comfortable and like at least I don't feel like they're too good for me, like it's just I don't know, I put myself so low.
I can't hurt someone that's hurting me or,
I don't know, that's hard to describe the mindset behind it, but even with my current
Fiance.
Anyways,
I had to say it.
Even with Dave, at first when we first started dating, I did run away from it because I saw a really good man that was, a really good man. And I was like, I don't owe up to that. Like, I don't own up to that. I am not as good as you. Like, I feel like I'm going to ruin you is the lies that I was repeating in my head. But Dave was so strong in being like, no. he saw his wife and he's like, I'm going to marry her.
I want her to see herself.
That's so beautiful.
He just held my hand and he's like, you are good enough. Like, and he just repeats that to me all the time. And it makes me so emotional saying that because like, I feel that pain too. Like I'm just like, wow. And to have someone repeatedly tell me that you are good enough, like it's okay if your finances aren't okay, it's okay if your life is a mess. And like, I'm still going to take you through this whole journey with me.
See, loved, worthy, chosen.
Yeah. So
right?
I'm just,
so beautiful.
No.
I feel like
cry with you.
I feel like he is offering a gift by continuously telling you you're worthy because it's so true.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a gift that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I guess what I'm asking is that, do you feel as though when he says that to you, that it's healing the parts of you that felt wounded and that felt unworthy.
I honestly feel like I've healed so much
Beautiful.
just from being with him.
You deserve that love.
Yeah.
Because it's not his responsibility to heal me, because a lot of that healing came from Jesus
Of course.
Yeah.
yes,
initially.
of course. But
But
Jesus sent him
it's
for
still
you.
it's still a new relationship, and like you're scared. You're
Yeah.
like, I'm not, and then they say all these good things and your mind is just like, that's not true. It's fake. He's lying. And then, eventually you're like, okay, like he's still saying these things.
He's still saying it.
He still keeps showing up and still saying the same things and repeatedly, and then your mind and your heart kind of starts to switch a little bit, and you're like, okay, like this
Yeah.
kind of makes me happy now, and I don't have these
beautiful.
like negative thoughts associated
Yeah.
with it.
He's
so.
like getting to know you deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
Like he's still in it. He's still in it.
Yeah. Can I just like quickly share the reason I'm so emotional listening to you say that is because like when I was dating last year, like I felt like I had that and
Yeah.
then very quickly realized I didn't.
Yeah.
And instead of it being that experience,
Mm-hmm.
I was the one that was like almost chasing in a way.
Yeah.
And so like your story gives me so much hope
Yeah.
because it's just like, oh, that does exist.
Yeah.
There are those people that are gonna pursue
Mhm.
me.
Absolutely.
And
It's going to be the one that God chose
exactly. And so
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
like why I'm so emotional is because it's
Aw.
just there's so much hope for
yeah.
me personally, and hearing that, knowing like the situation that I myself was in,
Yeah.
to just be like, oh, okay, it exists.
It does exist.
Yeah.
Even for me, it was very hard to find.
Yeah.
Like I spent years just guy after guy,
Mhm.
just dating and trying to find someone that like was good, I guess. But,
Yeah.
I also wasn't good at moments too, so maybe I was a problem. But it's just like,
It's a journey.
I get the pain because
Yeah.
it's frustrating, and then
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what
finding
goes back
someone
to
like
what-
it exists.
Yes, for sure it,
It
does.
exists.
Yeah.
It just goes back to what you were saying too. Sometimes people are the ones that help you to learn to love and to teach you how to love better. Right?
Mhm.
This was a couple episodes ago,
Oh.
but it just started
I'm
out
like,
to me.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes people do help. People.
He's just so rooted, like having someone so rooted in faith,
Mhm.
like
Beautiful.
it really guides you, because
Yeah.
I'm also
It's beautiful.
rooted in faith, but like I have my flaws, I have negative thoughts, but to have someone reading scripture to me, reading the Bible to me, and like they're
Leading
acting out what a biblical, he's not my husband yet, but he's
Yeah.
acting out what a biblical husband should be, is very soothing
Beautiful.
and beautiful.
Yeah.
And like
Beautiful.
He's a leader in
it's guided
faith.
me in a very good spot.
So special.
I
so
love
special.
that for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this has been a really beautiful episode. And I guess on that note,
Yeah. that's so good.
maybe this is an invitation for us all to try to practice more biblical self-love
Yes.
and let Jesus refine our hearts and our minds.
Don't believe the
and-
lies.
Yeah. And yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us. Have a great
Bye.
week, everyone. We'll see you next week.